You're
No, you
good.
were good. You were good.
Just
We're live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What You Need to Know. You know what? We have a producer who is so timely, and she just, it's time. It's 00. Let's go. I am Sybil Wilkes. Welcome to What You Need to Know. It is Thursday. It's George Wallace Day. Thank you, George Wallace, for joining us.
and good
And
morning and good evening.
we have a very special guest, Mr. Mack Wilbourn, and he is very special, and we will talk to him in just a second. For those of you who don't know, this What You Need to Know is based upon our newsletter, our daily newsletter, Monday through Friday. We have a newsletter called What You Need to Know, 5 things you need to know that especially pertain to the African-American community. We talk news and we talk health and wellness. We have a section there. We have the Historically Black College Corner, HBCU Corner. We have also talk finance, and on Fridays, which will be tomorrow, we have a very special business spotlight. And so we're kicking that off with a very special businessman today. If you have not subscribed to our very free newsletter, please do. Please go to sybilwilkes.com and give us your name and your email address. And we would appreciate having you as a part of our What You Need to Know news crew. Every morning, and Monday through Friday, we come in, we have our emails, our newsletters come into your email box. And so please do it. And once again, it is free, and this is a great time. Just as we're getting ready for the Easter season, it's a great Easter giving gift.
Yes. Instead of an Easter egg, give Sybil.
That's right. Give a little what you need to know to folks in your lives. All right, George Wallace, I want you to introduce this man because he is so special. He's so special to those of us from the Tom Jordan Morning Show, as we have come to know and love him, and also with great humility, we really respect and honor this man. So, George, will you please introduce the very special guest that we have today?
Without a doubt, Sybil, there's so much to talk about in the news, but there's some special people you meet in your life and you don't know who they are or where they come from. This is a man that everybody needs to know. I've become friends with him many years back. He's such an important man in America, and especially in the state of Georgia, especially in the city of Atlanta. And we talk business and we talk philanthropy. We know a lot of things. You can talk about chicken if you want to.
He knows chicken.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Mack Wilbourn, and you can tell us a little more what he does, but what you do, Mack. But this is the number one, ladies and gentlemen, number one Popeyes franchisee in the world, in the whole world, in the world. How you spell that with an R? In the world. Yes, this man. When you get off the airplane in Atlanta,
that's right.
You smell his chicken. The world's busiest airport, and not only one, he has 3 in the Atlanta airport. And what else? Do you still have the ice cream shop, Matt?
No, I have a We Juice It, which is a juice bar.
That's yours too?
Awesome.
Yeah, we have Atlanta Bread on Concourse A, which is Atlanta Bread and Bar, along with one of our beer, local beer companies.
I didn't know that was your spot.
Oh my God.
Commercial tour, you know? And on C Concourse, we have a Pizza Familia, which is out of New York. And then on D, we have another Popeyes, that's 3. And we have a Phillips Seafood. I'm the only minority operator in America that has a Phillips Seafood out of
Are you kidding me?
No.
That Phillips is yours?
Yes.
Fan me with a brick. Oh, hell no. Fan me with a brick. You got chicken and fish. Oh, my God.
Chicken and fish and pizza and a juice bar, and you just name it.
Baja Fresh Mexican concept on C.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have 8 restaurants and also do all the vending. Every time you go to a vending machine in the airport, if it's Coke.
Get the hell out of here. Take my... Oh, I got to hear. It's Sybil.
Well, Coke and our partners.
And how long has that been going on, Matt?
20 years.
20 years with Coca-Cola.
God.
And I fill the machines up and collect the money, and they repair them. Is that a good deal?
That's a great deal.
So, ladies and gentlemen.
I want you to do my next contract.
If he has time. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy, see, you never know who's doing what in Atlanta. and this is one of the top also philanthropists in Atlanta, and he's
Yes.
the number one fundraising man in Atlanta for the Democratic Party. So how about that? This is really important. So he can talk about anything, politics, anything you want to talk about, but most of all, he can talk about money. And I think he had a connection with Al Joyner, Tom Joyner's brother, with all of those food
I
places.
actually trained Al. Al started working in my store on Camilton Road in the 70s. And then I figured out he wanted a franchise. So I couldn't be his partner. So I got my mother to be his partner. And she bought in and went to Mobile, Alabama. The chairman of the board, Ray Kroc, had told them to tear this store down, to close it. The regional guy said, no, I'm going to give it to this, you know what, right? Serious. He gave it to him. He and my mother worked together. My mother went to church and brought the church people. Al did all the sports. That store is still open today.
Is that right? In Mobile, Alabama.
Fantastic.
Wow. And so you were Al's mentor, and we know that Al Joyner went on to great success with McDonald's. But do you mentor others? Is that a part of your giving back as far as younger entrepreneurs are coming about?
Oh yeah, we do that all the time. I've always done that. I enjoy doing that. If you will take care of your banking and your accountant, if you don't do that, I don't have anything to do with you. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man.
Mac, where did your business sense come from? Were you a part of an entrepreneurial family? Was this something that you grew up in?
Well, I grew up picking cotton. Okay.
Okay. All right.
My grandfather on my mother's side and father's side was very successful. Next generation, I had two uncles out of, I guess, 16 or 17 kids that entrepreneur route. One had a grocery store with a gas station in Tucson, Arizona. And the other one had an upholstery shop. That was the uncle that never had any kids. I became his son. And I went with them. I moved to Tucson and I was able to talk my grandmother and mother into letting me go to live with them because I wanted to go to college in Arizona. And I figured out that you needed to be there 2 years early to keep from paying out of state.
Right.
They let me move there in the 10th and 11th grade. So I went to 11th and 12th grade in Tucson High. I go from 22 people in my class to 300 and something.
Oh, wow.
In 2 years, everybody in school knew me. But
of course.
Right.
I can see.
And 3 years ago, George, they called me up and said they would put my name on the wall. I said, when I left there, I was in dummy English. Now, how y'all gonna put me on the wall? I told them, that's y'all crazy as hell.
I'll take it, but y'all crazy.
So you're from the country, you pick cotton all the way to Atlanta, and you got 6.
Well, and I lived in Tucson, went to the university. That didn't work. I went to LA, went to junior college. George, I go to LA and I'm going to junior college right out of high school. I'd never seen a pool hall. So and they would open up at 8 o'clock in the morning on Melrose, the LA. And I would end up in the pool hall because I'd never seen that many people in shooting pool at that time. So I look up, I done missed class. I'd go to the unemployment office at 12 trying to find a job. And I ran into this guy and he was always there too. He was from Texas. So it didn't work out. I go back to Arizona a year later and check into the university. I said, I done messed up in the junior college. Now I'm going to university. George.
That's amazing.
I go to university for a year and a half. Dean calls me in and says, I think it was March, April, and said, well, you need to get your grades up. I said, okay. He said, if you don't get them up by the end of the semester, I'm not going to let you come back. I said, Dean, today I'm going to do you a favor and me. Bye. And I left. Went back to LA, started working at Jack in the Box. And the rest is history.
Wow.
Oh my God. Is that a great story or what?
Oh, I fell in love with fast food.
And through Jack in the Box. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to the one and only Mack Wilbourn. He is our guest today, and a good friend to the Joyner family, as well as to our George Wallace. And we have come to know and love Mack over the years of working with Tom. And he is he's a font of information. He's inspirational, as well as just being a real fun and funny guy as well. He's charming, all of that. And that is what has made him into the incredible human being that he is. And also, Mack, I want to talk about your foray into politics, because you are very influential in the political world, and you have done some fundraisers for let's just say Obama's names. Just throw their names out there.
I guess he wanted to get some money, Sybil. He wanted to get some money. Oh.
That's the first fundraiser I did.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
And we are celebrating his birthday Tuesday, and we're gonna Zoom all over the world. He would have been 83, and I refuse to let him die.
Good for you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Maynard Jackson, which the Atlanta airport is named after. Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport, Maynard Jackson. And you refuse to let him die. And we appreciate that, because he actually built that airport in his era, right?
Yeah, he had to move the freeway over. If you can imagine moving a freeway over to get the site the way he wanted to be able to keep the airport we have today.
Wow.
The world's busiest airport. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How is Sybil? We think we're busy, but this man, now, what do you do, Mack? Do you just walk through the airport every day and just walk from business to business? And
well, I have a commissary. I'm a deal junkie. I love deals.
Let's talk about this, because this is something to do with airports, and this has got to be something you come in contact with, Mack. Every day we have a video and we talk about what's trending. I want you guys to take a look at this video and just give me your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Bonnie Cruz,
what in the hell? What gate was that? What gate was that?
I don't know if you've seen George with all the traveling you do, and Mack with your businesses there in the busiest airport in the world. I'm just wondering if you have seen this before.
No,
this is a case of young people. They were taken off the plane because people were taken off the plane because they would not wear their mask, right? And so this is where the fighting started and took place. And I was just, and so this is a story that is trending. And I'm just wondering your thoughts on this particular incident.
Well, how I look at things right now, Martin Luther King, Andy Young, and all others fought to get us to be able to go to the restaurants, go to Lenox Square, Phipps Plaza. Now it's getting ready to go the other way, because we have to have security to go in. We have to go to metal detectors. Why is that?
Yeah.
We go
Parenting.
in.
Parenting, mostly. That's what's wrong with Atlanta. And as I made a new joke about not too long ago about, if you go to Atlanta and you get off the airplane and you tell your driver you want to go to Buckhead, make sure you don't get Buckhead mixed up with Bankhead. If you go to Bankhead, that's where the movie studios are, and that's where all of the nice homes are upcoming plays now. But if you go to Buckhead, you could get shot.
Right.
That's how it has changed in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And just the shootings over the weekend, Sybil, right here in Buckhead.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a situation that, all of us are encountering in my hometown of Chicago. Of course, we have the shootings and things, and you all may not be as familiar with that as sadly as we are in the city of Chicago. But here we are in a situation, and when did well, first of all, when did women start fighting like a man? It's just unbelievable the way this is all fallen into place or out of place.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I don't either.
Well, once again, it goes back to parenting. The kids nowadays don't have a leader. There's no father. I hate to say that, but a lot of kids don't grow up with fathers in the house, and there's no leadership. And then they don't go to school, and they do go to school, and they got gangs everywhere, especially like in Chicago. And people are not being mentored by older people anymore. There's no village anymore, and kids today just don't care. They don't care about life anymore. That's why
But George, it's not just kids. Now we're into another generation of people who don't care.
To me, those are kids, and the people in their 40s, those are kids, and that's who's raising these kids. These kids, they didn't have parents either, so it's just terrible upbringing and what's going on in the world today. They're fighting everywhere, and I don't know. Even this guy that did the shooting, just everybody's crazy now.
Yeah. Mac, what's when young people come to you today and you have situations like this, or you may see something going on in the airport and you want to take a young person to the side, what kind of words of inspiration? How do you talk to them?
I go the other way.
That's sad but true. That's real, Mac.
You just don't know. You don't know whether they, especially if you before security, you don't know if they're packing or not packing.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, if I don't know them, no advice.
George, you travel a lot. Do you have any qualms? Are you like Mac? You walk the other way, or are you having conversations with young people?
Well, when I see young people, for me, I don't argue with anybody. If I see a situation happening, I just get away, because nowadays you don't know what. Everybody has a gun now. It's just like when you're driving.
That's the assumption you make. Yeah.
When you're driving now, you don't blow at people like you used to. Like the light, you gotta be careful now. They used to go up next to people and give them the finger. Now you just go, okay, you got it, go. And I'm afraid, so I try to stay out of harm's way in every way. Yeah. I can't trust it. When I drive down the street, like Saturday night in Atlanta, that weekend, what was that, NBA All-Star weekend?
Right.
Cars and traffic was everywhere. And nobody cares. The young people don't care about masks. As I said before, they were wearing the mask. The girls are wearing the mask over their private parts. That's what the mask was down on the skirt. I thought it was a miniskirt. It was their mask. And so they don't have respect for anything anymore. So these young kids are just different today, even in church.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Mac, do you hire a lot? Do you have a lot of young people coming through the business and hiring them?
Yeah, we do. We have the young, it's a mix. And we have people that's been with us, 15, 20 years.
That's great.
Yeah. And we try to work with them on making sure that insurance. One of the other big issues you will not believe is that it's hard to get people that have insurance. You're paying 50% of their insurance. It's hard to get them to go and get a physical once a year, which the insurance requires.
Really?
Yeah. So
and
our community, that's sad. If you want to go and get a physical to take care of this, you go and get your oil change in that car.
Yeah, right.
But you won't go get a physical.
Yeah.
And that's mostly our people?
Yeah. It is all people. That's all. George, I have two whites out of 400. I have 2 whites and 1
Hispanic.
Yeah, no, Japan.
Asian.
Yeah.
Asian. Oh,
yeah.
My.
Mac, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to check out our newsletter, but we do have, as we talked about at the top of the show, we do have a What You Need to Know newsletter, and and I invite you to please subscribe to our newsletter. Everything that is in here really learned at the feet of Tom Joyner, working with him for over 25 years, and the things that we have in here are really pertaining to the African American community. Whether it's politics and how that affects it. As you can imagine, this last year has just been incredible in terms of the things that we did. And I was able to come to Atlanta for a little bit to work with Black Voters Matter and do things like that. But this is really thanks to Tom and the things that he learned also from Mr. Johnson, back in the day. But as we start out today, looking at our What You Need to Know newsletter, our first story is the Virginia governor has restored the voting rights to former felons. And this is something that has been going on in other states as they have been trying to keep them from getting their voting rights back after coming out of the system. So the governor of Virginia is Ralph Northam, and he has restored the voting rights of 69,000 former felons. And this includes those who have completed prison sentences, but they're still on probation. And this is the difference here. Even though they're on probation, they will be able to vote as a result of his executive order.
And Sybil, I think that's one of the greatest things a governor can do. And I think all the other governors in America should look at that and say, this is a template that is set that they can follow. They put the time in, they paid their debt to society, and they do deserve to. Matter of fact, I think prisoners should be able to vote in prison. Am I wrong about that?
Well, you know what, George? This is what's really funny. The Republicans obviously don't like this idea, right? And,
you know why, don't you?
Well, of course.
There's 69,000 people, about 68,000 are Black.
Right.
Probably not going to vote for them. But in response to what the Virginia governor has done, Governor Northam, a part of the Virginia Senate Republican caucus, the press secretary said, Democrats won't be happy until they can do an absentee voting drive at Red Onion, which is the state prison.
Well,
but Mac, it brings to mind all of the things that, all of the great things that happened in the state of Georgia in November and into January of this year, and what that meant with all of the voter enfranchisement groups, those that were trying to stop the suppression of the vote, as that has been rampant in a lot of these Republican states. What are your thoughts on the way that your state just led the way in this last year?
Well, if I go back to in the 70s, Maynard Jackson came and said, we have 27 counties that is 60% Afro-American, no representation. So we started, I, Julian Bond, John Lewis, we used to go down and we had all the counties picked out. We went down and registered people on weekends to turn that around. So it's been a long, but that's how bad it was back then.
Yeah.
So what Stacey,
stories you could tell.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, about Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, what she has done has been, I take my hat off to her.
But of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
think you'll be doing some fundraising activities for Stacey Abrams over the next year or so?
Yeah.
For a particular position?
Governor.
There you go.
No, I would support her. I supported her last time for governor. We had a big fundraiser that Hank and Billy Aaron, the late Mr. Hank, and Billy Aaron, they hosted at their home. I do fundraisers all the time.
Yes, you do. Can you tell us some of the big ones that you've done?
Well, the first one, to have a sitting president to come to your home, is major. And that was Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Came to your house.
Yes.
That's awesome. That is awesome, man.
Hey, George, you got to put up with Secret Service for a whole week. Every day. They come, putting in their own internet, they everything.
They ask you for ID to go into your own house, huh?
Anything else to get it out.
You get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, where you going? I'm going to pee. I got to go pee, right? Security watching you every move you make.
But it worked out. They even how they were going to, how he was coming in, where he was going to park, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
gets here and he goes out the side door of his car and go across the street. Secret Service is like, what?
Oh my God.
Really?
He is, you know how you drive up and your little puppy jump out and go the wrong way. But he went up and down the street, shook everybody's hand.
He was at home.
Huh?
He felt at home in that neighborhood. Yeah, he felt at home. Yeah.
And came on in, and we all took pictures, had fun. He left, went to south side of town. Then we all had dinner at Tyler's house that night. And Tyler had Oprah up there working for him that night. Hey George, she was the door opener.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Mac, is it true that you tried to talk to Mrs. Obama into running for office?
Yes. I have shirts, banners. We had, and it was, and once I figured out why she didn't want to be bothered with the craziness of America, then I could understand. But I knew she was, thumbs up all the way. I mean, she could win.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I was right there with you, Mac. I absolutely wanted her to make that run, and like you, I understand. But man, that was just a no-brainer for me for her to run for office.
So I also thought she was going to run for vice president, what I thought was a good ticket also.
I thought so too, George. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I thought that would have been a great, but I'm happy with our vice president now. But I do think that that would have been.
They're coming to Atlanta tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
It's the plans have gotten sloshed. We were having a session up in Gwinnett tomorrow with both of them, and that's gotten cut because of the shooting.
Right.
So the president is going to go to CDC, and then he's going to go and see some more people. I don't know where that is.
You're not going to have them stop by Popeyes and get some chicken?
Or will you take the chicken to them?
I'll take the chicken to them.
You know he want one of those Popeye sandwiches.
That's right. Those sandwiches are good.
I want one of those chicken sandwiches.
Those sandwiches are addictive.
Let me tell you something. Speaking of smart, now, when you first came out with that sandwich, you guys did no television advertising. The word of mouth and by the news. That was a fantastic program. I was blown away. I've seen from the Big Mac all the way, my history of being in fast food. I was the 8th Black McDonald's operator to come in to McDonald's in 1971. I'll be in business 50 years, June 15th of this year.
Oh my gosh, Mac. 50 years.
Well, listen, your chicken sandwich is one of the most popular chicken sandwiches. Now, everybody has a chicken sandwich, including Taco Bell.
Right. Well, and they just did a rating in Atlanta in the newspaper, and we're #1. Chick-fil-A was #2. McDonald's was at the bottom.
I had their sandwich the other day. Don't tell them I said this, but I was said they should be ashamed of themselves for putting this sandwich out. This chicken sandwich. Funny. They want to compete.
That's funny.
And the hamburger too. What the hell happened to the quarter pounder? It's crazy.
Laverne Huey is watching. She says, Mack Wilbourn has always been sponsor to many events. And Mac's first McDonald's was in the Omni CNN Center in Atlanta. I remember that. So for product at that time in Atlanta, and many did not know he was a Black owner. Salute. Thank you, Laverne.
Back in the day, you owned that first McDonald's in the CNN Center?
The first one I owned was in the West End area, over on Gordon Street. Then it's Ralph David Abernathy now.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
But the one in the CNN Center, that was yours. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was mine.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. We're talking about money here, not chicken. We're talking money.
No, you only made money when there was a basketball game, because the Omni went broke.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What about during the Olympics, Mac? Were you a part of that to get the Olympics to Atlanta?
I was in the room when it was announced, and Maynard Jackson did this. And and what you have to understand there, when Billy Payne came to Andy Young,
Mm-hmm.
able to deliver all of the African countries, boat took us over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
His whole international, and I'll say this, I don't think they treated him right. After he
Mm-hmm.
won, Billy Payne was president, he was chairman, but Andy's not the money. He doesn't care about money.
Right.
There was the Olympic left. We had money in the bank. He hasn't worked anymore, but Andy had to keep on working. So
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
and during that time, you know who I met in Andy's office
Who's
was
that?
Jackie Robinson's son, who Andy
Oh.
gave money to that Clinton had given him for the international. He was over there. He had married a lady there, and
Mm-hmm.
how do you go from Brooklyn, George, to and you growing coffee with a plow like we had back in 1950?
Oh my goodness, amazing.
Did he move? Was it Tanzania, Mac, that where he lived? You know,
I don't remember.
I'm trying to. Sharon is a friend of mine, Mr. Robinson's daughter, and so I was wondering if that
I
was.
just bought her book.
Oh, I love Sharon Robinson, and I love Mrs. Robinson. She
Oh, yeah.
is just the ultimate. She's the ultimate. She's right up there with you as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned. Mac, if you were to, talk about the news and things, what are the things that are catching your eye these days? Because we're talking about these are very serious cases that we talk about, especially as far as social activism and that is concerned. We're finding a lot of cases, as we have in today's newsletter, about a young Black man who was going through a mental health crisis. And the police stopped him, and he died in their custody. And now there's an investigation and trying to figure out what happened to this young man. And it happened here in Texas, and it just a couple of weeks ago. And now they're trying to figure out what this happens, but it's happening more and more and more. Is this something new, or is this just the old? Is just recycling and still it's still happening in today's world.
Well, one of the things we don't believe in taking care of our health. I
You talk about that, yeah.
I see it all the time, and I know, now I'm gonna drink some wine. I have a couple of drinks, but to have it where it's hurts your health, that just doesn't work.
Right.
We have too much of that in our community.
Yeah.
Too many liquor stores?
Huh?
Too many liquor stores in our community?
Yes.
Okay.
Every other block.
What about drugs?
Yep.
And the really bad thing about it is that a lot of young people are medicating themselves when they need some other kind of real drug to help them in their mental health situation, and they will use weed or whatever to ease whatever voices and things that they may hear or whatever other discomforts they have as far as their mental health is concerned.
Yeah.
Also, our ego is too big to go to the doctor and seek help also.
Yeah.
So we won't go get therapy or go to a psychologist. I know I won't.
I
know I
won't. And you need help more than anybody, George.
I do. Maybe there's something we should talk about one day. I've never been to a psychologist because I'm afraid, because I think all of them are crazy. How the hell they know about my problem? And they sitting there. Most child psychologists don't have kids, but
No. But the way I look at it, I look at our Ethiopian community that comes here and works. I had one guy, and I have probably 5 or 6 that works in my organization. They are more organized and they manage their money better, and they'll go and buy a house. Then you look up, they will have bought a second house. And they manage it. They're not worried about spending on cars, clothes, Gucci and Fucci. Okay.
Right.
So that's that's the difference. We love Gucci and Fucci so much. Now I'm gonna buy some art, but it's going to evaluate. It's going to climb.
Right.
But
I see some nice pieces right behind you there.
that's one of a kind, a Coca-Cola piece.
Oh,
beautiful. Of John Sandridge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He's the only Afro-American I've ever known to have a Coca-Cola license to paint.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, the last story I want to talk to you guys about, and I think you'll appreciate this.
Can I ask him about his employees? Are most of them educated? Are they concerned about school? Is there a financial program for them to go to school?
Yeah, there is, but no, they don't. You know,
they don't take advantage of that.
No. Even down to like Atlanta area tech. Now I have this. I'm getting ready to work with this Chef Schuler. He just bought a school out in Tucker, which is right in Decatur.
Yes.
They're going to be teaching high school students, people to get out of prison, how to cook, be a chef, and run a business. I'm just so excited about it.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, I hope you'll come back and talk to us about that, because our friend Chef Jeff was a young man that learned to cook in prison and came out and told his story, and now is a world-renowned chef, and so I love those stories. I absolutely want to see this.
This guy is the only one. He has six degrees. He's one of 6 chefs at that level.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
We got some restaurant and a lot of food in Atlanta. What's the lady on the truck called? The food truck in Atlanta that everybody's talking about? The
Slutty Vegans.
Slutty Vegans. Just lines around the block. Isn't that amazing?
Hey, George, I tried to get her to be my girlfriend. I told her I could.
But you wasn't slutty enough.
You got him, George.
You got him. You too busy working. You don't want to put no time in. You got to go to the grill. You got to go to the beer shop. You got to do everything. So you ain't slut. You got to have a little slut in you, Mac.
I think you're too practical in that respect there, Mac. I'm thinking that you are a man who gets up every morning at 5 or 6 or 7 in the morning and your day starts. No?
Late night. I'm a nighter.
You're a night owl. Oh, that's no wonder Yolanda Starks-White loves you.
Hey, Sybil, we thought looking at him, we thought he was one of those guys up every morning at 6 o'clock out the door.
Right.
Yeah.
So what time do you get up, Mac? What does your day look like?
I get up around 7, and I work out, and then I go to work.
And then you go to work. And does that mean you go to the airport and you go to all the stores, or you make the rounds?
I have an office, warehouse, commissary, and all that in Haven, which is 3 miles from the airport. So that's where the base is. So, accounting, that's where the money is counted.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mac, let me ask you this. If you were to, and I don't know if you have, but I hope that you will, do your life story, what would you call it? What would be the title?
I don't know.
Chicken Man.
Chicken Mac. I don't know. People have been talking to me about that, and I'm like,
I bet.
But there's so many books out and stories, from John Johnson. I read his. I loved it. He's an Arkansas boy. And when he came back to Arkansas and spoke for Governor Clinton at that time, and Rodney Slater invited like everybody that had lived in Arkansas and left and came back. And then President Clinton got up the next morning and gave him an escort across the state. Can you imagine? He hadn't been there since he was 5 years old. And he comes back and speaks for Governor Clinton at that time. And then he goes back to that house where he was born.
Wow. That's incredible.
George, you been back to your house?
Yes, I have been back to my house, Mac. Just a few times. But I stay cooped up in the condo because I'm scared to go out there. And I got both my shots already, and I'm ready to hit the streets, but I'm still afraid. So I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to go to Las Vegas on the 28th, but I'm still taking it easy. I'm not going anywhere.
Hey, Sylvia, all those people that moved up to Buckhead and all them high rise, they didn't realize gonna be the ghetto. That's the ghetto now.
I live in the hood. Okay, that's so true. I live in the hood now.
So we've talked about money a lot here, and I want to ask you guys, because you gentlemen are, at the top of your game and dealing with money and investments, and we were wondering and asking our question of the day. If you had, and for this is for our viewers and listeners today,
Okay.
If you had $10,000 that could only be used for investing, what would that be? What would be your investment? Only for investing. You can't pay off your credit cards. You can't.
Stock. I do some kind of stock.
You buy. Do you have one in particular? Would you recommend Popeye stock, or would you recommend? Because I would invest in you, Mac.
Right?
No, I don't have. I don't do the stock. I'm more of a real estate person.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, well, you can make some money in real estate. Trust me, that's what I did. I never did drugs. I did real estate. Now I'm moving into stock. Yes, Sybil, I would take. Right now, I'm into the marijuana trade. I'm into there's a new. I don't know what they call it. TASS, transportation, because transportation is going to change tremendously. So we don't see it now. But in 15 years, General Motors is not going to make any gas cars. Also, in 15 years, you won't even need a car. You'll have Uber or Lyft to pick you up, autonomous cars, autonomously so, and drive you to where you want to go. Therefore, you don't have to look for a parking space. Therefore, you don't have to pay insurance on the car. Therefore, there's going to be less accidents. So therefore, you invest in things that you don't see right now. Biotechs, biogenics, what's things you don't see medical-wise. A lot of people put money into like the Moderna. What do you got? Another question there? And crypto.
No,
crypto.
They said crypto. So cryptocurrency. What do you guys think about that?
But when Tom was on the air, he was talking. So you remember this? One business person, he was talking about Bitcoin, right? And Tom said, "I don't know what it is." And I was listening that morning and said, "I don't know what it is either, but I'll just put 10,000 into it just for the hell of it. That's what I'm going to do." I didn't do it. You know what? 2008, I said, you know what? I'm going to put some money into, I was making all that money in Las Vegas. I'm going to buy Tesla. I'm going to buy Netflix. I didn't do it.
Wow.
But I did invest my money in some other stocks somewhere. So put your money in stocks and make some money that way. Real estate.
I got to tell you, George, a long time ago, Mac, George used to talk to me about investing, and he was always like, invest in, something. Just put your money somewhere. And that was probably one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got, and from George. And I think it was at one time he was saying Cisco or Cisco Systems or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was lucky enough to get in and to buy. And you don't buy a lot because I was working for Tom. I wasn't making a lot of money. So,
and you look into the future too. You can buy your stock and just let it hold. In 10 years from now, you'd be surprised what it turned into. Look at the people that bought Tesla 10 years ago. Look at the people that bought Amazon.
Yeah.
Simple. When I met you in Chicago, guess what was hot? AOL. You could have bought it.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Little companies that you barely hear of now that invest in those companies. Don't cost much money. There's a marijuana company I just bought for $1.88.
Oh wow! I'm surprised it wasn't.
Today is $6.
Really nice.
So those are the kind of places you want to get $1, and then 10 years from now, and what medical marijuana is going to go crazy. Even here in the state of Georgia now, it's getting ready to blow up. So if you get any of these companies and you look into them, and look into some technological companies and high tech and IT. Because it's going to blow up. I hear we're not making half the money that we can make today that we're going to make in 10 years. So do invest your money wisely. And you can never go wrong with real estate, because what your dad is saying,
I believe that,
they don't make that anymore.
Right.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
But the other thing is, I had the opportunity this week to meet with an international company, the company that's in Georgia to do batteries. And they were talking about,
that's you go. That's the one.
They're talking about how all the cars are going to be battery forward and all are headed that way. In 5 years, we won't be.
That's right.
The battery is going to be this size for the whole car.
Right.
It's going to be the size of the phone for the whole car. And so there's some new technology out there.
Gentlemen, we're going to invite into our chat room the wonderful Sheila Eldridge.
No way!
Sheila. Yes. A businesswoman extraordinaire.
Totally,
that's right.
Totally.
Sheila Eldridge of Miles Ahead Entertainment. You know her from the creator of Cafe Mocha Radio. And we are celebrating this weekend another one of her magnificent projects, and that is the Salute Her Awards.
Yes.
And before we get into that, Sheila, I want to thank you for joining us, first of all, because you know what a fan I am of all that you do. But I do want to ask you, what if you had $10,000, what would you invest in?
Cannabis.
Just like me, huh?
Yep. I think that's the next, and I have to tell you, hope he's not watching. My son told me this 3 years ago. He said, "Mom, we need to be investing." I was like, "Oh, no." He's like, "I'm telling you, we need." Hey,
Sheila, your son knows what he's talking about because he told me. He told me the same thing. What a nice son! What a nice son you have. Thank you so much, fella. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Yes, spoken like a true radio person too, Sheila, if I may say so. Mac, I don't know if you, in talking about entertainment, and I know that you know all of the stars, and especially those that come through Atlanta, but as you travel the world, but Sheila is a one-woman operation, and she is a dynamo in the entertainment business. And as I said, I'm so in awe of her, having owned radio stations and created radio shows, and now taking it to a whole nother level. But my greatest inspiration is the way that she supports and uplifts women. She constantly is there to support women. And I know you know about supporting women, Mac, because I know you like a pretty lady on your arm and things like that.
I was listening to the conversation before and I see that you all were talking about one of my honorees that we're going to be honoring this weekend. So
tell us about Salute. Let's talk about the Salute Her Awards, and you can tell us because this is an impressive group. I have been honored by your organization, and that was one of the greatest honors of my life. But you have some incredible people that you are honoring here of this weekend on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to start with Pinky Cole because that's
you got Slutty Vegan. Yeah,
and I see. That George, you're familiar with her.
But of course.
And she's I've watched her for years and she is what I call a conscious philanthropist and businesswoman because she gives as much as she makes, and only to find out that her father was imprisoned when she was born. And she has just motivated her and kept her and told her to always give back. And so that I love her. Cynthia Evo, the actress and singer and just style maven, we're honoring her. And then Holly Robinson Pete,
yeah.
Holly and
very nice lady.
The work that they've done with the Holly Rod Foundation.
Holly Rod Foundation,
for autism and Parkinson's for a father and her son. So just Holly special. Deneen Milner, who you all might know from there in Atlanta. She's based there in Atlanta. She's a New York Times best-selling author and wrote a lot of books with Steve Harvey, Magic Johnson's wife. She's being honored. And then
Cookie.
Yes.
My church mate. We go to church together. Cookie. Yes. Great lady.
Yes. And then we have Melanie Campbell.
I love her. Women's Roundtable.
I call her she and Latasha Brown.
They're
both being honored. They are the truth. I call them straight up sisters on the front line.
That's right.
They are the truth.
That's right.
And so they're our kind of activists that we're honoring. And then we have Dr. Kamika Corbett, who is the only sister that was in the room when they were, working on the vaccine.
The Moderna vaccine.
So I got the Moderna because I'm trusting her. So they're the women that we're honoring, and I'm just, we've been doing this now for 10 years.
Wow.
How long did it take me, Sybil, to get you? It took me 3 years to get Sybil to honor her. I think it was 3 years ago that we honored her.
Yeah, it sure was in Dallas.
I just love, what we see on TV is not always who we are. And I was
Mm-hmm.
so upset with the depiction of Black women on,
Right.
network TV
Reality.
and
Mm-hmm.
right, reality. And so we just decided 10 years ago, I said, you know what? Let's make it real simple. We're just going to give our sisters our flowers and we're going to enjoy them and we're going to salute them. Not, and that's what we're going to do. And 10 years later, here we are. We started in the Audubon Ballroom with 50
Mm.
people.
Audubon
Malcolm X and
Ballroom.
Betty Shabazz, that's right, museum. And now we've grown and now we're moving into broadcast. And you never
Yeah.
know where you're going to see us in the next year or so. So I'm
And so
excited.
this is going to be streaming on Sunday, the 21st at 7
Yes.
Eastern. And so how do people get information about how to stream this program?
You can go to saluteher.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get information there. You can RSVP. It's free. I just, want the information, but go to saluteher.com. And I have to say that it's no way we could have been able to continue to do this for so long without the support of some good, conscious corporate partners.
Yeah.
Thank you to Toyota. Thank you to AARP. Thank you to American Airlines. I mean, there've been sponsors there that have been on this journey with us the whole way, as well as Coca-Cola, down there in Atlanta. So our partners have really been on this journey with us, and they see, look, we make the decisions. Quietly as it's kept, George.
Totally.
We make the decisions, okay?
And what a lot of people don't know about Miss Eldridge is that this is one of the top PR ladies in the world.
That's right.
So
That's
people
right.
don't know when you see
Thank
us on
you.
TV shows and going places and seeing us doing and inviting these big. She's the sponsor. She's the reason.
She's the brains in the operation. That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
She is a maven in so many different areas of media, and it's great. And Mac, you can speak to this as Sheila was just talking about how important that sponsorship is, and people becoming involved in organizations like this, and being, as Tom liked to say, partnership with organizations.
Yeah, all the way. I mean, we go all the way back to when Mr. Johnson had Ebony and Jet, and the doctor was saying, we don't do print advertising. We were able to go around the beauty shops, barber shops, and show the corporate people, along with a guy like Tom Burrell out of Chicago, who helped us go and show them how many eyeballs were seeing those in the barbershop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the high points of my career was meeting Mr. Johnson. And I met Mr. Johnson through Coca-Cola was my client at the time. Chuck Morrison. And Chuck Morrison and Mr. Johnson were very close. And he said, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Johnson so that when you do business on our behalf, he'll know who you are. And that was an amazing moment, meeting Mr. Johnson. But it was through Chuck Morrison and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Now, Sheila, you being you and mentioning all these big names, is there any Black superstar you haven't met you don't know or you'd like to meet? Because there's always one person you never got to meet.
I'll tell you who I would really like to meet, who I haven't, and I'm going to meet LeBron James.
That's my son. That's my son.
The growth of this man, of this young man. I'm so proud of him and what he's in school and what he's doing and the businesses with the brothers that he grew up with. That's what I want to meet. Yes. That's creating a legacy, and that's cultivating our culture.
From Akron, Ohio. Thank you, Akron, Ohio. And thank you also, Akron, Ohio, for Curry.
That's right.
That's right.
That's wonderful.
Sheila, let's talk about Cafe Mocha a little bit because I'm still a radio head, but I just love how you put together this program and how it has grown, and now folks can hear you on Sirius XM, on the HUR station there, and just a little bit about the growth of this, and you're choosing the women you chose because I am a major Lonnie Love fan, as you know, but I just think that the chemistry, the combination of women is just really smart.
Well, the whole idea of the show is that to be a voice for women and to speak from our perspective, because on so many radio shows I saw the women were the co-host.
Yes.
We really were doing, I think, the work, if you ask me. So
Oh, are you kidding? On all the shows, the ladies do all the work. Without the ladies on, they call them co-hosts, but without these ladies on, you should name your radio show the co-host that doesn't run the show.
That's right. That's right. So, and it was, I didn't want it to be named after a person. I wanted it to be a platform for women. So Cafe Mocha just came to mind, got the trademark, and found the women. And, Lonnie was the last one that I found,
Wow.
and I just knew when I met her, because she's so well read.
Yes.
She knows how to give you that aha moment. I believe, and I tell them, on the show, I said, if I listen to the show and there's not an aha moment that I take away in terms of information, you've missed the moment of the show that way. And so she gives you that moment. She's the one that makes you stop and go, you're right.
Aha.
Always have to have an aha moment. And then we want it to be about inspiring and empowering one another. And Lonnie is that person. So, we got Lonnie, we've got Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo is my round the way girl. And, so in every woman on the show, it speaks to a different type of woman. And then you got Angelique, who is an amazing radio personality and character actress, voiceover, and a producer. And she just has really taken this vision and brought it alive.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very blessed. I mean,
you should be very proud.
We've all been together,
That's
wow. Great. That's awesome. That is truly awesome. So what's next, Sheila Eldridge? Where do you go? Do you broadcast from the moon? What are you thinking? Because you're always growing.
We're going to streaming. We're going to that's where we're headed. We're going into that. That's where we're going. So we can reach. I always say there's got to be a silver lining. I don't care what happens. Is God has got to have a silver lining in everything. And I think the silver lining in this pandemic is that it's forced us to get creative. It's forced us to come up with a new innovative way of connecting with one another. I never thought we'd be producing these awards for television, producing them for broadcast, but it's just setting us up for where he's headed, where we're going. So so that's the next move.
Okay, streaming and cannabis. Okay, we got you.
And somehow that all works.
It does. It does work.
For those of you who are watching us now, I ask you to check out our newsletter, of course, every day, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, on Fridays, we have a Black Business Spotlight, and our spotlight is on the great Sheila Eldridge tomorrow. So, and it's a wonderful article about a wonderful woman. So I invite you all who are, a part of our What You Need to Know news crew to please check out our salute to her. To Sheila Eldridge, and she goes about this. Yes.
Can I ask you a PR question, Sybil, before we leave?
Of course, George.
Because I didn't get to talk today. I didn't get to talk about Tiger Woods or Kirk Franklin. So I'm a little.
I'm sorry.
Kirk Franklin's little PR problem. I don't think he should apologize to anybody but God. And he told his son what he should do. I think Kirk Franklin should shoot a video called Scissors, so his son can see him cut his ass out of the wheel. That's. Stomp his ass out of my house. That's what I just had to get that in, because I'm Kirk Franklin. You keep on doing what you're doing. Ain't a person in church ain't cussed. Sometimes you just got to cuss and say it, tell it like it is, Kirk Franklin.
That's right. Is that your tweet of the day too, George?
That's some of my tweet of the day. Listen, I just sent you my tweet, but we can't do it now. I sent you my tweet. I sent it to Cheetah, and Chica.
What the heck? Why the hell are sporks a thing, but not foons? No, you're the foon, George.
Get the foon. That's when you go to get your fast food. Why do they call it a spork and not a spoon?
It's more fun to say spork.
It's spork. Yeah. I got so many tweets out there. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I know, right? I know.
Did you see the picture I sent you of the Atlanta airport? We had a fight at the airport. I sent you, Chica. Did you see the other picture there?
No, but we do have this still.
Sheila, I wrote a book called Bull Twit. So I was cussing so much I had to cut it off. So I said Bull Twit, and it's a little ramblings from my brain here. And it's little things in my head, like, I'll cook pot stickers on a non-stick pan. I do stuff like that because I don't play by the rules.
Go to GeorgeWallace.com and you can get and .net and .org and all
follow
of
me
the
on Twitter too at Mr. George Wallace.
Buy
that book.
before we get out of here, I do want to yeah, absolutely. Mac, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this and sharing your wisdom and your life story. Any closing words you want to leave us with?
Let's just do better to each other.
And when you go to the airport in Atlanta, make sure you stop by one of his places. If whatever you do, you get a drink out of the drink machine, all the Popeyes, the Baja soda, and everything. Everything.
Okay, so Mac, give us a rundown again of all the restaurants. I know we have pizza and we have juicing and chicken. And
in the atrium, there's Popeyes, and we juice it. On A concourse, I have Atlanta bread. On B, Popeyes. On D, I have pizza and Baja Fresh Mexican concept. D is Phillips Seafood and Popeyes again.
Well, when are you going to open up a pig's feet place? A pig's feet place.
No.
Before we go, I thank you, Mac. I thank you, Sheila. It is such an honor to have both of you on. What a great program this has been. I appreciate you. Every day we leave you with one of Yogi's jewels, and today, the inevitable uncertainties of life are sometimes challenging, but therapy helps. And George, take that information.
I ain't going to no doctor.
You will.
I ain't going to tell nobody about business. They don't need to know my business. They don't need to know my business.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Sheila. And everybody, please take a look at this, and we'll see you on Monday.
He can tell you about their first dance, but he can't remember my name. I'm his daughter.
Half of all Black families are impacted by Alzheimer's, but we don't know why.